Right, you've got two for the price of one tonight. What we're going to do is, there's a lot of times people tie flies and they just do things that come sort of second nature to them. So what I'm going to do is, as Scott's tying, I'm going to ask him stupid questions and he's going to explain why he does certain things. Now, what you'll find is, if you've watched a few of the videos, both myself and Scott both fish roughly the same flies. But if you notice, there's a massive difference on how maybe I would whip finish something or how I would put a bead on compared to what Scott does. And sometimes the simplest question, people are afraid to ask it simply because they feel stupid. So I'm going to be the stupid one tonight.
Not for
again. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you stupid questions, right? So what we're going to tie?
Right, this week, Paul, we're going to do one of my favourite corn patterns. It's got a few different colours in there, greens, some silvers. It's a really good pattern, I think, when the fish are taking pin fry at the moment. With it having black and green in there as well, it's also a brilliant early season corn.
Right.
It's probably one that one or two guys might have seen, but I think the majority of you guys out there might not have seen this sort of style corn before. So I think there'll be one that everyone will be interested in, and it's probably one that everyone should.
You're going to have to get ready for the stupidest questions.
Go on then, start.
Right, first one. Why you put your hook where it is?
Well, I like to see the point of the hook.
Yeah. If you pushed it in a bit, you wouldn't catch your thread on it.
I try not to catch the thread anyway, Paul. It's not something I advise.
It's something I do.
I like to have the hook, as much of the hook protruding as I can possibly get.
Right.
Without it becoming kind of slack. Reasons so I can sort of gauge how far on the bell I'm going, and just so more visual than anything, I know where I am with that.
See, I tend to have the hook further down, more onto the bend, because I just think it's got a better grip and it stops any sort of movement.
It's your dodgy vice, that's it.
I know.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll crack on. The thread I've got is an ultra thread, 70, one that we've used.
Next stupid question. UTC do a 70, a 140 and a 210.
Yeah. All get thicker as the gauge goes up.
Yeah.
I like the 70, the thinnest one. It's strong enough for what I'm going to be doing here. It also means I don't get a big, chunky style body.
So when would you use a 210?
I don't think I'd use a 210. I'd use the 140 on big lures. Zonkers and things like that, where I need really, really good strong threads to make sure that the materials are well held in place. If I'm not using 70, to be honest, I'll probably move on to the UTC power sort of thread.
Yeah.
Again, it's very, very thin, but it's about 10 times as strong as this stuff. The only problem is if you're using quite...
the only thing is with that, if you forget and you try to snap it off with your fingers drops off.
The other thing as well, if you're using quite fragile material, like a booby etherthorn or something like that, or even pheasant tail, that UTC stuff, it's so strong. If you pull it tight, it'll just cut straight through it. So you've got to be careful what you tie that thing with. But for this one, we're going to use UTC 70. So start just behind the eye. And bind back on myself towards the shank of the hook.
Why do you cover the hook before you start tying?
It's just so the body doesn't slip around.
Right.
I've caught the thread in my fingers.
You've got lovely touch and turns there.
Oh yeah.
That's I just get it down as quick as possible.
Oh, that comes from tying buzzers after buzzer that. But I'm going to go back towards the base of the hook.
Right. In a lot of videos, what you hear them is they're obsessed by it. I just take the thread at the point.
Well, on this fly, I like to take it to where I've got it there, just about level where the barb would be.
So basically, take it down for what you feel is the right length of body.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about tying your own flies is I might be tying the same pattern as someone else out there, but mine will not look the same. There's always a slight difference, and 99 times out of 100 the fish isn't going to care. Yeah. But it's all up here. I think
a lot of people get obsessed by it's got to be this, it's got to be that.
Yeah.
As long as it's near enough. I think the worst I've ever known, and I hope the guy doesn't watch this because he'll know straight away who I'm talking about. And I remember sitting in, you know, the pub up at Stocks that's closed down there.
Yes.
And we sat there, and he asked us what I'd been catching on, so I showed him it. And it was just a straightforward quill buzzer.
Yeah.
And he said I tied it in reverse.
Yeah.
No, sorry, he didn't. He said, that's wrong. I says, how's that? He says, you've got the strip quill going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I thought, he's having a laugh, yeah. And he wasn't. He was deadly serious. But at the end of the day, we've got to turn it one way.
Yeah.
In real life, it's hoops. It's not. It's not a spiral.
Yeah.
And this guy was convinced that because I tied it the wrong way, it wouldn't work. I just thought, well, felt sorry for him actually.
Did it work?
No, he didn't. He blanked the next day.
Right. To rib the fly, I've got some very fine red wire there. So I'm going to catch that in, leave myself a bit of excess sticking out the front there. I'm going to measure that up to probably about the same length as to where I started the thread. And the reason I start the thread there and not exactly behind the eye is so I know and I have to leave myself that much space at the front to tie in the wing. Alright?
Very technical.
Yeah. So once I've got the wire catched in,
Caught.
catched caught,
Caught.
tomato, tomato.
No.
Caught in.
I noticed it in your previous videos,
Yeah.
but I was going to say no.
Silver holographic. Alright, that is the medium or large. Both will do the same job. Once that's caught in, alright, gonna just wind back on myself a few turns just to make sure the holographic and the wire start from the same point. And this is where the 70 thread really comes in handy, because if I had 140 thread, which is a lot thicker, I'd have to be very careful here because I'd end up getting a lump of thread at the base of the fly. Using those touch and turns that you're so jealous about. The wire caught there. Create a nice flat sort of profile body.
Yeah.
Alright. At this stage, grab a bit of super glue. I'm just going to put a touch.
Why do you not use super glue with a brush?
I'm lazy.
Hmm?
I'm lazy.
Well, no, the brush is easy.
It's on there now.
It's tipped over as well. It's on your desk. Get it up.
It's alright. I'm not worried about that.
Now, what makes you, because I've noticed a few times now, you always put your tinsel and you turn it the same way.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm more comfortable doing it this way.
Right.
I've got more. I think I've got more control.
But you could do it the other way if
You
you
could do
want.
it the other way, yeah. I just like to say I feel in more control doing it that way.
Right.
I've got more turns to do with the holographic than I have with the wire. So you want to be doing that as comfortable as you can. So you can get it in the right place and it, doesn't unravel itself. So I've made my body. Gone up to probably about 3/4 of the way up the hook. Come in with the holographic, the red wire. And I'm going to wind in the opposite direction. That's just for strength more than anything else.
Yeah. And you're doing it the opposite way to the
Opposite way
tinsel.
to the tinsel, yeah. Like I said, on this fly it's probably as much for strength. If you can imagine sort of a mesh or a chainmail armour type thing rolled up pointing one direction with a crisscross.
Does it?
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
So once I've got that caught in, break it off.
Must have been dealing with you've snapped it pretty easy. Isn't it?
Yeah. It's all in McDonald's, a kid food.
Yeah.
Right, Just going to put in a small bit of thorax here, and this is, I'll show you in a second, cut some off. Lime green straddle fit, with a bit of the UV flashing. I only want 1 or 2 turns of this, don't want much at all. Just peel off some of the extra fibres. Don't worry if it starts to unravel itself. I'm going to catch it in a few mil back. Catch it in and wind back on yourself. Make sure it's nice and secure. Once it's caught in and I've got the confidence to wind forward. Now I've got a bit of a lump there because obviously the body is quite thick. So just sort of neaten up with the thread. And once you're happy with that,
you're stroking the fibres back.
Yeah, it's just so I can get as much in a short space of, in a short period.
There's no going forward.
Yeah, I want all of them to be pointing back. A few turns up towards the eye.
Me and Scott's fished quite a few competitions together on the same team, and he's never showed us this before.
Yeah. It's just like you promised to tell me all the Midas tries.
Got none left.
Yeah.
Right, here's a one. Right, with Coleman's,
Yeah.
there's that old debate on whether just stick a bit of marabou on,
Yeah.
or use a certain part of the marabou, which is the fine tips of it.
Yeah. I like to use the tips personally.
Right.
I haven't got any evidence that it's more successful. It's just personal preference.
Right. I just grab what I can.
Yeah. Probably why you.
That's a lot of waste you've got there, though.
Well, I normally use the the tips.
Yeah.
The blood quills.
Yeah.
I don't normally use a blood quill.
Alright.
But this is all we.
What's a blood club?
It's just a short marabou.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, got the tips of the marabou there. Before I do that, I'm just going to come in and put a whip finish just to secure the thread in place.
There's no worse than if you leave go of that
Yeah.
bobbin and
It
you
all
go to do
spirals.
something. Yeah.
So that's why we do a quick whip finish. And that's the advantage of being able to whip finish with your fingers. You can come in and just do a quick one, and you're not looking around for your.
Can you use a
finish
whip
tool.
finish tool?
I can, yeah, but I prefer to use the fingers.
I can't. I've got to use my fingers.
Well, you just use super glue. Or,
It's a bit of super glue.
I'll wait till I come around and finish the transfer. So put the wing on. Now I'm going to measure that up there. Probably we've got that about 5 mil past the bend of the hook.
See, I ran for 6.
Well, fish once told me 5 mil is what they prefer, so I always go with 5. This is where the quills are a lot better because it's a lot shorter. You can be a bit more control. A few turns to secure it. Come with the scissors.
Is that my marabou?
Yeah.
Alright, that's why you've wasted all that.
Alright, okay, now I'm just going to do a bit of a tidy up job here. So, again, that's where the 70 thread comes in really handy because you can get in all those tight little gaps and make a nice little head. Whip finish, and there we are. Now I'd call that traffic light Coleman. That's what I know it by, but somebody might know by a different name.
Like I said, you've never showed us this one. Now, there's only different things you can do here. I tend to use bloody super glue with the heads.
Yeah.
Because they're not coming apart.
Yeah.
What do you use?
I tend to just use a bit of Sally Hansen's varnish.
See, I can embarrass kind of the boots for that.
Oh, that's why I got married, you see.
Yeah, I always get funny looks.
Yeah.
So when you're tying flies like this, normally, how many of them would you tie?
Probably between 4 and 6
Right.
at a time. Cormorants, you tend to be, if you're fishing a team of cormorants, you've normally got 2 or 3 on. And if you get snapped up, it's a lot of flies to lose pretty quickly. So yeah, between 4 and 6.
I'm going to show you how to tie knots.
Yeah, I am Paul now. So yeah, between 4 and 6. But
see, I'm not bad at it now, but years ago I would do that. I would tie my first one and think, right, that's it. And you're seeing 4 or 6. By the time I get to the 6th one, because I get bored easily, and I've added a bit, I took a bit off, I've added a bit of orange.
6 different patterns.
By the time I get to the 6th cormorant, it's an orange blob. I can't. I never used to be able to batch things up, and now I've went to the other extreme, where I will batch up 20, 30 at a time.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when I watch you. There's things I'm watching, and I know I've asked the stupid questions, but there's things I'm thinking, Scott, you're in. Because I'm thinking how precise you are with it. And that's just your way of tying.
Yeah, well, I think you've got to, when you come to change a fly, you look in your box. If you've got a line of flies that you're not particularly happy with, you'll not catch as many fish as you will if you think, I'll put that on, because when I tied that would really nice in the ice. And if you've got confidence, that transmits down the line, and I'm sure you catch more fish.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Definite confidence. Yeah. But it just goes to show, we could go on a resi tomorrow. You might get more fish than me, I might get more fish than you. Same on the rivers. And yet, with tie flies so different.
Yeah.
And I think what it does show is there's no right and wrong.
No, well, if the best flies caught the most fish, it'd be pointless someone.
I wouldn't have many fish.
Yeah.
No, it's. I think you're right when you're saying it's confidence.
Yeah.
But when you watch, there's some fantastic fly ties out there, and you watch them, but it's like when they say matching the hatch. I think as long as you've got your own theories and your theories work, it's like when people say about matching the hatch. Well, my theory is, if I make that fly look identical to the other million that's on the water, why were they going to come and take mine? Yeah. Whether you make it bigger, you put a little tag in it or whatever, but it's for all we both tie the same flies, we tie them totally different. And I think people need to understand that if it's easy for you and you feel comfortable with it, then do it.
Yeah. There's no right and wrong way to tie flies, just like there's no right and wrong way to catch fish. If you caught a fish,
I know the wrong way.
Well, there's plenty of wrong ways, but if you catch a fish, that's the right way.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheers, mate. Enjoyed taking the pee out of you there.
I'll enjoy taking the piss out of you when you fill my boat full of fish and you.
You've had more flies off me than I've had off you.
Not my work.
Listen, I've been there when you've had bad days. Right, we'll catch you later.
Goodbye.